think Google would have a better room than this. I thought there would be like an awesome movie theater, and most people are on the floor.
Stephen, thank you for playing music usually reserved for a fireman's funeral. That's creating a really nice atmosphere for me right now.
Because you're there and, like, you know, you're surrounded by alien makeup extras and you're on this amazing set outdoors. You know it's literally costing at least thousands of dollars a minute, if not more. Yeah. And they're like, okay, no, do the Running Man more. And you're like, oh my God, like, if this doesn't work, it's gonna be super embarrassing, you know?
Someone in an Iron Man outfit asked me the question, how did I envision my relationship with Marvel would be? And then the next day, Kevin Feige was there, and they asked him the same question. And then 2 weeks later, Kevin Feige called me and said, you wanna play a tree?
We spend a lot of time on Google looking for fan videos and messages, and I'm doing wonderful today. And I would say that the only reason I ever mentioned that people don't ask me how I am genuinely is because it took a lot of bravery to get to where we are today. A lot of people see glasses and shoulder pads and crazy outfits, and over the years it was very difficult to do interviews because that's all people would talk about.
People think by changing attitudes, their consciousness will change. No. By changing attitudes, certain actions will change. Yes, positive, beneficial, but it is not truly transformative.
But they wanted it to be an income tax rebate. Well, an income tax rebate means you gotta declare it, which means then it's part of your income, which means the federal government's gonna take a third of it. And I thought, this isn't the Fed's money, it's ours. So I did it and was successful in a sales tax rebate.
Now, I want to explore...
Did anyone recognize, hold on, did anyone recognize, I'm sorry, I'm stopping you in the middle of asking me a question, but it's Google and there are no rules. I've been told I have to keep my pants on, but that's it.
Walking into Comic-Con, everybody's laughing and smiling, and Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick and Tim Miller, the director, and everything, they're all just laughing and backslapping, and I just am sheet white and terrified because I have no idea how this is. I'm too close to it. So then when our presentation played, we showed them about 3 or 4 minutes of the movie, and it finished, and they were all on their feet, and then they started chanting one more time. And that, on the side stage, I looked over there and I could see the studio head who had waited 10 years to greenlight the movie just looking at me like with this smile on her face like, well, there you fucking go.
Yeah, I went on Bing by mistake once and it said, you just go to Google.
I set up my first email account. I didn't understand what it was, so when I shared my email address with my friend, I was like, yeah, it's www.cucumber_cutie@hotmail.com.
Oh, I'm so sorry, a couple questions.
For me, life is not all about just my profession or just acting or just dancing. It's experiencing every day, you know, the different kind of things you have to go through, the situations and how you deal with them, and the life lessons. You know, I love to live my life, basically.
You know, I don't think there is anything more important than education. I'm very keen that my kids are very educated. And now with technology and this accessibility, there used to be a time, and still is, I'm sure, to specifically specialize in XYZ, and you have to be a scientist, you have to be a doctor, you have to be an engineer, and those things are important. But I think the overall development happens when you can educate yourself in a more round way, and I think technology can help there. I don't want to, I'm not saying it because I'm here, but I feel I don't need a teacher or a book since Google's been there. You know,
right? We think, okay, I have to sit down and force myself to meditate. I have to work out. I have to say no to the donut and eat something, that has fiber in it for breakfast.
Corporations, boards of directors, and major shareholders have decided to take the profits that everyone helped to produce. By the way, you know how we know that everyone helps to produce the profits? You know how that happens. That happens every year, the proof of it, at the Christmas party. That's when the chief executive, a little wobbly from too much punch, gets up on a chair and thanks everybody for the contribution every person in this firm made to our successful year.
お母さんからもらったこれが捨てられないんですっていう風にして片付けが止まってしまうと思うんですが、それやると一生あなたの片付けは終わりません。
It often happens when you are going through old photos, old mementos, the items you were given from my mother. It always stops you from organizing.
To keep things honest, I'm a researcher in human origins for the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and my research is inspired by my studies in the ancient Sanskrit writings in India.
The divine right of kings and the whole long tradition of civic repression combined with religion is known as theocracy. We have created in the United States the only country in the history of the world written on founding documents, testable, organized, works in progress, based on the theory of human liberation, and the only constitution in the history of the world that says that there shall be a separation between the church and the state. God is never mentioned in the United States Constitution except in order to limit religion and keep it out of politics and put it under legal control.
Because I was raised in a great country where everyone gets a second chance. I owe my country 800 times more than I can ever repay it over these past 4 decades. That is why I'm at the FBI today, 32 years after the federal court order expired requiring me to do so. I have turned down 3 pardons from 3 sitting presidents of the United States because I do not believe, nor will I ever believe, that a piece of paper will excuse my actions, that only in the end, my actions will.
One of my first negotiations after I got trained on the hotline was with the woman who's now the ex-Mrs. Voss. And I had learned on the hotline that when you heard anger in somebody's voice, that you would say, "You sound angry," and it would make it go away. And it was like magic. It worked for me on the hotline all the time. And someone calling on a hotline, there's going to be anger that's going to be driving them one way or the other.
We are still just at the tip of this revolution, because at present, whether it's Google and Facebook and Amazon, or whether it's the government or whatever, they are trying to understand people mainly on the basis of what I search, what I buy, where I go, who I meet. It's all external. The really big revolution, which is coming very quickly, will be when the AI revolution and machine learning and all that, the infotech revolution, meets and merges with the biotech revolution and goes under the skin.
Hey, thank you very much.